You're listening to Exploring Anime with Friends, a JMO for Real podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and all major podcasting networks. I'm your host, JMO! And today's friend is my wife and co-host. How's it going today, Sarah?
Hi, everyone. It's going great today.
Awesome. Are you ready for today's episode of Exploring Anime with Friends?
I'm very ready for today's episode.
So today we'll be exploring the world of DanDaDan, a supernatural sci-fi with coming-of-age themes. First, we'll take a look into our two main characters, Okarun and Momo. Afterwards, we will then explore the crazy day that brought them together. Then we will take a look at some of our other amazing supporting cast. And afterwards, we will go through the conflict that sets the tone for the first season. And remember, if you like what you hear today, be sure to follow us on social media. Like, subscribe, and follow. All right, talk to us a little, Sarah. You kind of really like these two main characters, don't you?
I do. I really do.
So who do you want to talk about first, Ken Takakura or Momo Ayase?
Let's talk about Ken first.
All right, so we'll talk about Ken Takakura, or as Momo calls him, Okarun first. And why does she call him Okarun? Let's just first go into that before we go into the characters themselves.
She is so very offended by his name because his name is the same exact name of her favorite actor.
Yeah.
And her favorite actor is, like, he's cool, he's calm, he's suave, he's like... She's infatuated with him, so she can't look at this geeky, dorky Ken guy with the same exact name without being like, no, you're getting a name change. I can't call you that name. That name is reserved.
Yeah, so she starts calling him Okarun. So talk to us a little bit about Okarun first. Though I will say this, the fact that nickname sticks because of the name, and the fact that she even gives that to him, already explains a lot about their personalities, doesn't it?
I mean, he objects to it, and she just don't care.
And eventually accepts it.
And then she's just gonna keep calling him that.
All right, talk to us about Okarun.
So Okarun, he loves the sci-fi world, and by sci-fi world I mean like he is so deep into aliens and alien conspiracies. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he's not watching Star Wars and Star Trek. He's keeping track of where aliens were sighted and the different types that are out there, and he knows all this pseudoscience of aliens that turns out to actually be science, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. He's a quiet kid. He literally, before this show starts for him, he has no friends. He's nerdy. He's got the glasses. His hair's kind of like just blah. And he's just kind of like, I don't know, kind of hopeless until he meets Momo.
She steps in and she catches a paper ball that's being thrown at his head that has some sort of like heavy thing in it that probably would have hurt him a little.
Probably would have hurt a little.
And she's like, what are you guys looking at?
Yeah,
like,
no, she says how it is.
You know, her personality is very... it's not very opposite of his because she's very, I don't want to call it depressive, but they're kind of both are. They're both very
have their
moody,
moments.
right?
Yeah.
But she is a assertive, dominant Moody, and he is a closed-off, reclusive, like self-deprecating Moody. Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to like take these guys down by talking about them this way, but that's part of the appeal of the series,
part of the charm,
right? Like,
yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about their interactions and anything that you want to say more about their personalities.
So Momo stops this like paper ball thing from getting thrown at Okarun, and she just leaves. They were in school. She like steps for like a half second inside the class, protects him kind of from the bully. So basically she tells him, oh, that's a cool book, and gets up and leaves. And his book is of course about aliens and supernatural stuff. And he's like, oh my gosh, that's someone who could be my friend. She likes this stuff, and I like this stuff, and that's someone that can be my friend. And he goes after her.
Yeah, no, he just chases right after her. The whole scene is kind of comical as a whole, because in that scene, they find out that he believes in aliens, but doesn't believe in ghosts, and she believes in ghosts, but doesn't believe in aliens. Talk to us a little bit about that interaction.
It's a beautiful premise, I'm not gonna lie. I love the whole first, like, bit of their relationship. I absolutely love. So yeah, that's exactly what happened.
The whole awkward opening 10 minutes that becomes even more awkward as the show goes along. I mean, like, I don't want to skip too much over their personalities, but let's talk about this first pilot episode as a whole, because, man, like, I wasn't sure what to think after finishing the pilot, right?
I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to maintain this one. I'm not going to lie. There are things that happen that I don't usually get at all or want to get, and I was just just like, but I want to know what happens.
There is a very mature rating for this one.
Keep
So
an eye on that rating, folks.
Yeah, no, do not show this one to your kids.
Absolutely not. So in the first bit, they're talking back and forth, and suddenly Okarun's like, but I thought you liked aliens because you said my book was cool. And she's like, I don't believe in aliens at all. He's like, I believe in ghosts. And he's like, ghosts aren't real.
And she's like, my grandmother's a medium.
So they're talking back and forth about how, like, it's crazy that you don't believe in aliens, and it's crazy that you don't believe in ghosts. And they challenge each other. Okarun challenges Momo to go to a place that supposedly has had alien abductions, and Momo challenges Okarun to go to a place that supposedly has had ghost, like, crazy paranormal activity.
And despite the fact that their personalities are the way they are, there's an amount of bravery that goes to both of them when it's things of the supernatural. Now, don't get me wrong, Okarun's completely nervous and everything.
Oh, no,
he's
scared.
Like,
oh, yeah.
Knees knocking and the whole deal as he's entering the place where the ghost supposedly is. But at the same time, he's going because, well, it's the supernatural and it fascinates him. And she goes because it's the supernatural and it fascinates her.
I mean, I object. They both go to their perspective spots to try to prove the other one wrong.
Okay, to try to prove the other one wrong. But they start to get the overwhelming sense that, wait, we're not here by ourselves when this happens. Now, I'm sure she believes it's a ghost where she's at.
Oh, yeah.
And he believes it's an alien where he's at.
Probably.
And they're probably not conceding to the other one yet at this point. But that doesn't remain all that long. You want to talk a little bit about their encounters?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know.
Bananas.
Oh, gosh. Bananas.
I don't even know what to say. Like, you want me to talk about her encounter and you talk about his?
I don't know which is. They're both bad. They're both. Oh gosh. Kudos to the writers on this one for keeping it awkward the whole way through.
Yeah, no. So she definitely runs into three aliens who are harvesting bananas. It's
Bananas
not necessarily what you think it is.
Yeah, bananas aren't for fruit.
They abduct her and they're kind of like, yes, no, you have this and we need this and therefore we will, we're going to perform surgery on you.
I mean, if that's what you want to call it.
It's not just quite surgery, though.
Just in case the audience didn't get what that was. This is an all-male alien group.
Yes.
And they need someone to bear their weird male offspring.
Yeah, no, it gets awkward really quick there.
Awkward's not even the word. It's horrifying.
Honestly, almost considered this is the one that is on the edge of what I'm willing to actually cover on this show. But I think it sneaks in just under because the shock value of the first episode, though it continues throughout the series, it's not quite as crazy as the first episode. So we got into the encounter that she has, and she's basically strapped down, and it ain't looking good for her. Yep. She's about to become the alien queen, but in a different way. And him, what about him? What's going on with him? And is it Turbo Granny?
Yeah. So basically, he sent Momo into a building, an old decrepit building. Momo sent Okarun into like this old, no longer used tunnel.
Yeah.
And just. Like, I don't know what universe people think it's a smart thing to go down dark, scary tunnels.
That literally says keep out right at the beginning.
It literally has, like, crap. Like, jeez. And I wouldn't have thought, like, Okarun, I would not have thought I'd been this brave, but apparently he is. And, yeah, Turbo Granny appears. She's a ghost.
Yeah.
She
wants to suckle while he gobbles, right?
I think it's the other way around.
It kind of work both ways, right? No?
Oh, my
Maybe.
gosh. I can't believe we're talking about this.
Yeah, no. I mean, this is the first episode.
This is the first episode. So, Okarun's freaking out. He's trying to call Momo, who's freaking can't really answer her phone. And he's trying to run, but he's getting chased by this Turbo Granny ghost, who's called Turbo Granny for a reason.
Yeah. So she grabs on and she swipes something from him. She swipes something pretty important from him.
His banana.
Yes. Meanwhile, he, as a result of it, sort of becomes a little bit almost possessed. But
kind of, yeah.
Somehow he gains the ability to transport himself through a telephone.
Yeah, well, that's all Turbo Granny somehow.
Yeah, no, that's all Turbo Granny somehow. And he ends up on the alien ship as Momo is starting to glow and get an aura around her of her chakras coming out.
Yeah.
And she just beats everyone back.
She just, lays a smackdown, which was fantastic because that was scary.
And that is Momo and Ken, because at this point in time, he realizes something's missing. And she's like, I'm going to help you. She's like, I got you into this bad situation, so I'm going to help you get out of it.
It's not just that something's missing. He's still got, Turbo Granny in him.
Yeah, no, he has Turbo Granny in him.
Who just keeps trying to take over.
Momo's holding it back with her chakra, and at the and she's like, yeah, no, I need to help this kid because, I got him into this mess. And yeah, he got me into a mess too. So we're kind of in this together at this point in time.
Yep.
And that's how the friendship really kind of blossoms. That's where she gives him the nickname Okarun, because that's the point in time when she finds out his real name. And it just kind of works from there. It's actually a pretty beautiful friendship. Talk about the friendship itself of Momo and Okarun.
It starts a little shaky at first because of their personalities. They're a little bit opposite-ish, but at the same time, they both went through something kind of horrific, and you just kind of grow together when you experience something kind of crazy like that. They become friends. Momo's not as ready to admit it because, Okarun's kind of a dork, but she does accept him as a friend, definitely.
Yeah, and it's very endearing. So they go back to her property where she lives with her grandmother, and as immediately as they walk in, Okarun gets lit on fire because he has a spirit inside of him. And the end. That's where...
The end.
No. Momo's able to, use her chakra to send him into a pond of water and put him out, and he gets his nice, cool afro for the next encounter and whatnot. But before we start talking about all the various different encounters... If you like what you're hearing so far, be sure to watch this for yourself on either Netflix or Crunchyroll. You can get it in a lot of different places. Make sure to check it out. If you like what you're hearing on the show so far, like, subscribe, and follow on social media. Everything will be linked in the show notes. Now, before we start talking about all the amazing conflicts, I kind of want to talk about some of the other characters first, because Granny becomes pretty important at this point in time. Turbo Granny continues to be important throughout the series. And we have a couple of friends that appear that complicate the whole feng shui of their relationship, right?
Yes, very much so.
So let's talk about Granny first.
I like Granny. So when you first see Granny, it's from a flashback from Momo. And she's this very, stereotypical, works in a shrine grandma. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. That's really great.
Yeah, that's nothing.
And that's nothing at all like who she actually is. I'm really confused about this. I'll admit, that confused me.
Oh, man.
She doesn't take crap from anyone.
Oh, no.
At all. Her attire is not the shrine maiden look anymore. It's punk, I'm gonna get you look.
Yeah, complete with the big beat stick.
She freaking has a bat half the time. And it's very different than the brief moment we get from Momo's memories, which is great. It's really funny. I want to know what happened. I want to know what changed in Grandma's life. But
a very brash, in your face personality, she calls it what it is. And when Okarun's kind of like, I don't have a banana anymore, she's like, let me see.
Yeah, right. No, we gotta check. We gotta make sure. And I don't honestly think she was being weird about it. She was doing it because she needed
wasn't being weird about it.
She needed to see what was going on.
Yeah, she understands the supernatural better than anyone in that show. She just wants to know what's going on. This series as a whole does a lot to border on the complete edge without it being the motive that would make it something that terrible.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You get a lot of shock value moments throughout the show.
A lot of shock.
If it can weave the shock value that it has with a story that it looks like it's developing, that frankly needed another 12 episodes for the first season. But I do appreciate the fact that they're coming right back 6 months later with the next release. But so anything else you want to say about Granny before we transition?
No, not really. She's good. She knows what she's doing. That's the best part.
All right, should we talk about the other two kids first, or should we talk more about Turbo Granny first?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know.
Let's go Turbo Granny, right? Yeah. Same page there.
Yep.
So, where do you even go? Do you want me to field this one?
Yeah, you take this one.
All right, so at a certain point in time, they get control and everything, and they have to go into a conflict with Turbo Granny, and they end up beating her. But before she completely disappears, she latches onto Okarun one final time, and he's feeling a little bit awkward because the banana has returned, but the grapes haven't. So,
sorry, the way you said that, I was trying to figure out how you were going to say that delicately. That was a good job.
I mean, I could have just say that his balls are missing. This show leaves a lot open for episodes.
Yes.
But long story short, she latches onto the inside of him, and they're able to exorcise her, and they get her inside this Neko Kitty doll.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrifically wonderful. No. Absolutely. She becomes the side character. This all-powerful, faster-than-sound ghost becomes the side character, like for the group that's traveling around. Picture Happy from Fairy Tail, but with evil intentions.
Yes.
Or not caring intentions anymore at this point in time, because she just kind of wants her powers back that are inside of Okaroon.
Yeah.
She adds a lot of comic relief the second half of the season, despite the fact that she was more or less the boss of the first half of the season, right?
Yeah.
All right, so talk to us about the kids. First, the girl that enters the picture that complicates things in various different manners.
Oh, my goodness.
Ira, talk to us about the wonderful Ira and how she first meets Okaroon.
So basically, there's a lot of tension between Momo and Okaroon, and they fight a little bit. And so after, like, one of their fights, this beautiful pink-haired vixen, Ira, is just trying to console Okaroon. Because, gosh darn it, she's a good person. She will step down from her high mountaintop, and she'll console the lowly dork, I guess. I don't know what to call him besides that. Yeah, she pretty much thinks she's, like, God's gift to the world.
Oh, man, I love how much you hate her by the way you're describing her.
Listen, okay, you guys watch it and you tell me I'm wrong. She's terrible.
She's threatening Sarah's ship. That's what
she
that's
is
what
threatening
she is.
my ship. Gosh darn it. Well, because like I don't know how deep we want to get into what happens with her and like how she's really included with the other two.
We'll leave that in suspense because she definitely plays a role in the process of him retrieving the grapes and whatnot. So yeah, the grapes balls, whatever you want to call them. Like I'm doing that for shock value at this point in time. Like honestly, we need to have a little shock value on this episode since there's so much in the show
much
itself.
Shock value of the show. Yeah, I don't like her. But basically, I
think she's a good character.
I mean, she is. She is a good character, and it's actually good to have her because Momo is not willing to admit that she's starting to like Okaroon in that way. So to have another character kind of like hitting on him, it boils Momo. it gets her. So I definitely think Ira has her place. And the arc where we meet Ira and everything happens, it's intense. It's got a lot of sadness to it, which is a good counterbalance to someone like the crazy.
As much as I think the plot developed a little slowly and I needed more episodes for this first season, there is such great storytelling on the episodic level.
Yeah.
And these episodes where she was introduced and, frankly, they were battling another form of ghost called an acrobatic silky. And those episodes were so brilliant. That's where I knew that, okay, I really like this show at this point in time.
Definitely.
By the time that arc's over, she has the powers of an acrobatic silky. Ken has the powers of Turbo Granny, and Momo has her chakra.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like they're forming a little bit of an awkward supernatural high school
love triangle.
No, it's not really a love triangle. Like who knows? It's more of a love square. Talk to us about Gigi a little.
So Gigi is Momo's best friend when they were growing up. He eventually moves, but he has returned because his house is haunted. And every time someone tries to go and like exorcise it, bad things happen.
They end up taking their life.
Yeah. So he remembered that, Momo's grandma was a medium and is like, hey, I need help. And he's got this like boy band about him.
He's too much of a goofball, but at the same time, he's like athletic and charming and yet a goofball all in one.
How is that not describing a
more
boy
or
band?
less every girl falls for him except for like Momo and Ira, right? Like,
yeah. Well, Momo, they're just friends.
Even Granny falls for him. Not Turbo Granny, though.
Not Turbo Granny. So yeah, he asked for their help. Clear whatever's happening in his house to clear it out.
And he more or less declares to Okaroon that he's his romantic rival for Momo's heart.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, we have Ira who loves Okaroon. We have Okaroon and Momo who won't admit that they love each other.
Oh, no. Okaroon has admitted it.
Oh, yeah. He won't admit it to her, though.
He won't admit it to her, though.
He'll admit it to Gigi, thus making them romantic rivals for Momo. So it's a weird sort of, like, not quite love square, but at the same point in time, it's kind of like,
kind of shape.
Who even knows? Because there's no interaction between Ira and Gigi, but, like, this is only the first season, though, right?
Yeah, you never know.
But yeah, so the season ends with them heading into that final episode, and honestly, things happen in the episode. I need it more immediately. I needed an episode the next week at that point in time, but at the same point in time, we didn't get it, and I'm not going to focus too much on that. I'm not going to take away from one of the better animes of 2024 in a year that was just kind of stacked with great animes as a whole. But yeah, any other fights you want to talk about? I know I alluded to the acrobatic Sylphie fight a little, but maybe we should talk somewhat about the underwater battle.
Oh, gosh.
where the show just got really weird all over again. Like, It's funny because it keeps on, the first episode hit you with like, whoa. And then it just gradually, it just kind of normalized a little as it went along. And then you get hit with this
crazy episode.
Crazy 2-episode arc that just kind of like, wow, that was insane.
Oh my goodness. So the aliens from the first episode, they're back. They have returned, and they've hired help, and the school starts flooding from one of the creatures they brought with them.
But it's supernatural. It's almost like it's frozen outside of space and time.
Yeah. Suddenly, the only people that are, like, aware of what's going on are original 3, Okaru, Momo, and Ira. And, geez, I don't even know.
It's an intense battle.
It's an intense battle, yeah.
And this is the first time where she uses her acrobatic silky powers. And this is the first time that the 3 of them fight alongside each other. And it's at the heart of when Okaru and Momo were fighting because Momo saw Okaru with Ira.
Yeah, awkward position.
Yeah, awkward position. Nothing was happening.
Nothing was actually happening.
Awkward position all the same.
So, but it looks bad.
But this fight actually helps bring them sort of together. It repairs the relationship with Okaru and with Momo, and it more or less solidifies that Ira is 100% gunning for Okaru at this point in time.
Oh, yeah, she is.
It also shows that the 3 of them are willing to team up, despite the fact that Ira thinks that Momo is a dangerous demon.
Yes, and a lot of other awkwardness.
And the best part about it is this whole episode ends with us getting to witness the beautiful event of a cow getting abducted by a spaceship.
It's so beautiful. And I want to point out the funniest thing in the theme song, which is horrifying but awesome. Exactly. There's a cow that gets abducted. And I just thought that was just like them being like goofy. But everything in the theme song, you see it in through the first season.
Yeah, honestly, the theme song, illustrated-wise, does a great job at showing what's happening with the first season. It also it mentally stresses you out.
I definitely recommend to watch it once and then just skip intro next time. It's insane to watch. If you close your eyes, it's insane to hear. Whoever put that score together with those just did a good job.
Absolutely amazing. And the most important thing that comes out of that little arc there is that they start to realize the aliens are trying to invade Earth, but the aliens are probably being held back by the yokai. So the aliens are targeting the 3 of them because they have yokai and other supernatural powers so that they can experiment on them and find a way to do battle against the yokai.
Yep.
And that's the theory that they come up with. And honestly, I like it.
I like it too, yeah.
Yeah, it checks out pretty well.
It does. It's pretty solid, to be honest.
I want this to be a long, ongoing anime, and I feel it kind of set itself up to be that way, right?
It could be, yeah. I'm not familiar with the manga at all, but...
So, any final thoughts or closing remarks on DanDaDan?
It's horrifying, and I love it.
Simple like that?
Yeah. I need my ship to sail. I need Okaru and Momo to have a wonderful long life together and a happy family.
Okay. Again, it needed to be 24 episodes for the opening season, in my opinion.
Yeah, it would have definitely helped.
But I don't think that they're relying just on shock value. I think there's a very clear storyline underneath there, but there just weren't enough episodes released in the first season. But the great news is these episodes are going to continue to come out what looks like at an accelerated rate. But besides that, excellent storytelling, great character development, a overall story arc that really pulls you in. And the shock value really adds something to it that other animes do not have. It makes it unique.
Yes.
So once again, we looked at our 2 main characters, Momo and Okaru, and we looked at some of the various things that they went through together when they first met. Then we met some of the other great supporting cast and some of the battles that they had with both aliens and ghosts. We hope you had as much fun exploring the world of DanDaDan as we have, and consider watching this anime. So if you like what you heard today, make sure you listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you stream your podcast. Listen to all of our J-Mill for Real podcasts, and hit us up on social media, like, subscribe, and follow. Once again, this was Exploring Anime with Friends. Let's explore together. And now for a word from our sponsors. Binbuster. Live from YouTube, it's Tuesday night, the call sign of the Binbuster YouTube channel. Once you hear this, you know you're about to embark on a journey through pop culture. movies, comics, and more. Buckle up and enjoy the ride every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. EST. Poppin' Cinema with Joe Mama and friends. Showcasing the power of cinema, join Joe Mama as he introduces different friends each week to a movie they have not seen before, popping their cinematic cherry as they talk about the movie they just watched every Tuesday at midnight.